Welcome to the Menopause Queen podcast. This is the first podcast of 2026, and it is episode 12 of this brand new podcast. In fact, this is a brand new movement that I put in place towards the end of 2025, and already we have, I would say hundreds, but it's not true, but we have a lot of women that are starting to wake up to what I'm putting out there. And thank you for that. Thank you for watching and listening. I put this out twice a month, around the full moon and the new moon. And the idea is to share some of the musings that are going on, share some of the things that are going on in my menopausal journey, and things that have helped me in the past, things that are helping me right now. Sometimes it's going to be oracle based. Sometimes it might be a bit woo-woo, a bit spiritual, because I'm kind of a bit of a shamanic yoga teacher. And sometimes it's super practical. Sometimes it's a bit of a rant, and sometimes it is a profound and deep sharing. So, at the time of recording this particular podcast, we are welcoming the full moon of January, the first moon of January, which is the wolf moon. Now, wolves have had a bad deal, I feel, over the years, and have been put out there as quite vicious and attacking and scary kind of creatures. But on various deep journeys and guidances by people who have helped me get through some profound trauma in my life, I have been told several times that my soul comes from America, from the Native American Indian tribes, that for many years, a white lone female wolf has been walking by my side, and I feel her, and I swear it is one of the reasons why a couple of years ago, where I live in the mountains. It is quite wild, particularly where I live at the base of a number of ski resorts, but where I actually live is quite wild forest, and people bypass where I live to go up to the ski resorts. So around my house is pretty open to the animal kingdom, I would say. And a couple of years ago, there was a lone wolf that had separated from the pack, because they're tribal pack animals, just as horses are, and I'm going to come on to all of that in a second. But this wolf found himself on his own. I doubt he survived the winter, because they need each other to survive, to hunt for prey, and to flourish and thrive and mate, etc. But this wolf had obviously got separated from the tribe, either deliberately or not. Maybe the tribe pushed him out. But either way, he was on his own. And he trotted around our village, actually, for a few days. And then I would spot him early morning. I would go out with my dog, walking, and we would see his tracks. And sometimes in the distance, I would spot him. And I would quietly bow and respectfully turn around, because I didn't want the confrontation with the wolf and my dog. I'm not entirely sure who would have won. I had a big dog, but it never came close. It never even got up to try and come towards us, even though it had seen us and smelt us way off. And I swear it's because the white wolf walks with me. Now, she's very old, but she's very wise. And just occasionally I feel her pulling me like this. Or just occasionally I feel her going, "You can do this. You've got this." I swear it's one of the reasons that I bought a horse on a whim just over a year ago. I love horses. I have always loved horses. I've had a passion for horses. Part of me is petrified of the speed and the power that these horses represent. And another part of me knows that I used to gallop across desert land, in forests. And the weirdest, oddest thing is I gallop better one-handed. And I have done ever since I've taken up riding again. My best galloping, most controlled galloping, believe it or not, is one-handed and really relaxed. And it brings me all the way back to that ancient time in America as a native Indian. Now that might sound woo-woo, but honestly, this is what this new year, this wolf moon, and the passage between snake and horse, 2025 and 2026, it is all about this. It's all about tuning in to what your dreams are telling you, what your authentic self is telling you, what all of that is encouraging you to step into and to do. And it's exciting, but it's scary at the same time. So 2025, as I have mentioned in several of the podcasts, you can go back and look at the videos or listen to the audios. 2025 has been a massive year of introspection. I'd just like you to take a moment maybe and think about what has happened in 2025. What has happened during the course of the year? And I'm not just talking about the good things. And I'm not just talking about the bad things. I'm talking about both of those, but I'm also talking about the in-betweens. There's a wonderful word called interstitials. Interstitial, my mother actually has a heart-lung condition, which is an interstitial lung. It means the in-between. It means what's happening in between something. So in my mum's case, between the lung and the heart. But in this particular instance, it's what has happened in between those good or bad moments, the highs and the lows, the events and the non-events. What has happened in that interstitial time? Because it's fascinating. It is totally fascinating. That in-between bit, the micro details of things. That's where the magic happens. It's in the day-to-day. It's in the small details that you observe. It's in the silent words that are not spoken. It's in the interstitials. So what has happened during the course of the year? It has been the year of the snake, and it actually is still the year of the snake at this beginning section and junction of the year. We move into the year of the horse very shortly, but not for a few weeks. We've probably got until the next full moon, until the energy of the horse really starts to be felt. Now I'm just going to talk from the horse point of view. In another video, I explained what the snake and the horse represent, what the 2025-2026 represents. I listed all of the qualities and the values of those, so head back and look at those or listen to those. But just from a horse perspective, the horse's spirit energy and mission on earth is freedom, is liberation, is feeling free. The humans, so yours and mine, is love and joy. And the horse seeks love and joy. And we, as humans, seek freedom very often, which is why there's always been a very tight relationship between human and man or woman. That synergy is so powerful. But in the last few weeks, all the horses in the stable where my horse is kept have been absolutely nuts. They have been bananas in their random, energetic and physical reaction to certain things. And I remain convinced that not only they are breaking free from past blockages and things that have really stopped them from flourishing, not only are they breaking free from their own, but they're helping us break free from ours. They're kicking their back legs out by rising up on their back legs and kicking out, as if they're saying, come on, break the mold. It's time. There's another way of living. So this introspective period, this shedding of skins like the snake, this quiet evolution that has been going on, I want you to just think about that. Mine has actually been incredibly intense, at times quite sad and quite emotional. And I've had to make some big decisions which have ended up with the new year, and I'll be totally brutally honest with you, being financially not in a great place. But I've had to make these decisions because I know that the freedom and the abundance and the authenticity that is going to now come out and is already coming out will bring in the abundance and the new wealth and the new fluidity. But the shedding of the skins has been painful. The making decisions, the shifting my attention, the knowing what I should put my attention onto has been tough. I've been thrown off my horse a few times and it's hurt. I've been frightened by my horse and at the same time experienced incredible intimacy and synchronicity with him. That growth, that quiet evolution is so powerful. But it can lead you to a terrain of, wow, there's not much here now. What do I now do? Whether that be financially, whether that be physically, whether that be energetically. And this beginning of the year, this wolf moon, is a howling out there. It is a, okay, what have I got to get rid of here? To really nourish, really nourish my soul. Really step into my truth and my authentic self. Now, I don't always do this, but I think actually this year it would be a really good way to guide us through the year. In my coaching group and in a lot of the work that I do on a one-to-one basis as well with my students and my clients and even my friends, I use oracle cards. So I've actually decided to pick an oracle deck for the year. And Sharon Blackie is an author who greatly helped me through my menopause. I actually joined her Haggitude community, I read her Haggitude book, and it really helped me through the period that can be quite lonely. And I'm going to come on to this idea of the wolf moon and the lonely and the tribe in a second, because I think it's a super way to complete this podcast. But I joined the community, the Haggitude community, which is a combination of hag and attitude, which I already loved. Sharon Blackie, if you don't know her, has written many books, If Women Rose Rooted being one of the most outstanding ones, I think, in terms of menopausal women. Haggitude was geared to the menopausal woman, but actually, If Women Rose Rooted, it should be given to young women, like as they turn 18 to read. It is just brilliant. So I have chosen her oracle deck, and her oracle deck is this one here, the Rooted Woman. And I actually think it would be a really nice thing each month, each full moon, to read out the oracle card that I have chosen. Now I'm going to explain myself there. I do various rituals at the beginning of the year. One of them is I pick, for the first 12 days of the year, I pick a card from a deck that I have chosen. Some years I choose lots of different decks. This year I'm sticking to one. I pick out 12 cards, and each of the cards, each of the day, represents a month of the year. So for January, I picked out a very beautiful card, which I will show you if you're on the video, and if you're not and you're listening to the audio, I will describe it for you in a second. So the card is of, I suppose, a witch type woman, and she is standing in a rather amazing nightscape sky with stars and moon, and she's over her cauldron with the fire blazing, as if she is making spells. And this old woman is the old woman of dreams. And in fact, you've also in the drawings, you've got a fawn, you have like bear prints, you have an owl, and you have an eagle. Now, this is going to sound really woo-woo because I did choose this randomly, this card. But some of my totem animals, I have a whole tribe of animals that are my totem animals. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, very often we have animals that walk with us. They're called our totem animals. I have my white wolf, who I've mentioned, and I'm going to mention her again. She has no name either. I've never named her because she seems to be beyond the need of name. Anyway, I also have an eagle, a fawn, and an owl, and a white bear that stands way back but is there. These are all represented in this card, which is quite spooky. Now, also I'm going to mention when I was going through the heart of the menopause, when I used to go to bed at night and I would roll myself in my duvet, I had the absolute image that I was by a fire, a bit like this, by a fireside that had a cauldron in the middle, which was making soup. It wasn't making like spells or anything. And I was wrapping like blankets over me as if I was sleeping in the wild. And I had that vision as if it was real for many, many months. This is what this card is about, because it's the old woman of dreams and the maker of visions. It's actually asking you, this card. I'm going to read you the end before the beginning. The Old Woman of Dreams card reminds us that we should always take time to appreciate ourselves to the knowledge, or to apprentice ourselves, to the knowledge of our dreams, to tune in to what the dreams are trying to say to us. Although many of our dreams don't make sense to us in a narrative context, nevertheless, the characters who populate them and the images which appear hold information that might be helpful to us along our path. Our dreams also reflect the wisdom of our inner self, the part of us that knows what's good for us, even when our conscious mind does not. Now, the Old Woman of Dreams, all of these cards, in fact, are from myths and folk tales and Celtic history, and Sharon Blackie brilliantly brings them to succinct life, which is always useful, I think, when you're going through the menopause, because your concentration span is not huge, right? An old Scottish folk tale tells of an old woman and an old man who live in a cave high up in the Cuillin Mountains on the Isle of Skye. The couple are the creators of all the dreams in the world. The Old Woman of Dreams has deep vision. She can see and understand everything that's happening in the world by looking into a dark pool in the cave. She uses this knowledge to create the substance out of which her husband crafts the dreams of the world, and the two of them together quite literally are dreaming the world into being. The story tells of a young girl who loses her way in the misty weather and stays with the couple for a year and a day, helping them with their work. As a consequence, the girl comes to understand the importance of apprenticeship. She emerges from the old woman's tuition with the knowledge of how to interpret dreams, a skill that she later finds valuable in her husband's country, and which she in turn passes on to people to the benefit of all. To listen to your dreams, not necessarily to understand the narrative message, but to understand why certain people are populating those dreams, why certain energies are populating those dreams. I'm going to come back to the wolf. I mentioned the wolf moon, and I have mentioned as well the idea that wolves go as a tribe, that lone wolves rarely survive on their own. Very difficult to catch your prey and eat it. You need to work together to survive, but not just to survive, to thrive. We, as menopausal women, we as women, but particularly in the perimenopause and the menopause, we as queens often find ourselves alone. But actually, it's very difficult to thrive and to survive when you're on your own and you have those deep feelings of, am I the only one going through this? Is there any way that anyone else can go through this with me? So this is a shout out to find your tribe. It's actually a bit of a call to action to come and join mine. I had this deep vision last year. I had this whole awakening last year of creating a Be a Queen approach, of creating the Menopause Queen. I went out on a limb. I stopped doing certain other aspects of my work. I started earning less, and I'm putting a lot of my efforts and attention into this because I truly believe that together we can shine so magnificently. We can create potent magic together. We can tune in to the wise wolf wisdom that is within all of us. I wrote a book linked to this, linked to the 5 pillars of resilience and wisdom. Anchor, accept, align, abundance, and rise. The book is available. You can either buy it from me or you can go online to all your usual providers or go to Pegasus Publishing in the UK. There's a copy in the British Library even, which thrilled my soul to know that there's a copy in there. I created a whole online program that is available now to go through called Wild Wolf Wisdom. And it is linked to those same 5 pillars of resilience that I believe each time you face a challenge are the steps you go through. You have to ground down and re-anchor. You have to accept the situation. You have to align or realign things. Then you have that invitation to invite abundance. And then finally, you can rise and ascend or arise into that rooted, aligned, authentic version of yourself. These are all things that are currently available for you to access. Message me if you can't find the links, but I will link them in the description below. And my wish in creating the Menopause Queen, the YouTube community, the community that is on school, please go and discover it. You have access to all these podcasts on there. You also have access to some free content, the lives that I do, the community posts that I put up there. You can pay a monthly fee, which is really small, that keeps the community going, and you have access to some incredible programs and practices online as well. So yes, I'm publicizing myself here, but it isn't just for that. What I'm trying to put out here is a community call. My white wolf and I are inviting you to join the tribe and to walk this year hand in hand together, because my final point is 2026 has been put out there as a year of 1. And it is, to a large extent, 2026 added together is 1 and 0. But it is also a year of 10. And the year of 10, or 10 in numerology, is all about creation, but most especially co-creation. Co-creation. It's about creating things together. It's about the breathing heart that's at the center of everything. And that, my friends, is my invitation to you and to us. Let us co-create this year together. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, for tuning in, to all these founder members of the School Hub and of the YouTube channel. Thank you. And I hope to see you soon.